Hit record.
Hit record.
I think what you should do is hit record. And as you hit record, Vanda, make sure the picture is exactly where we want it to be. It is, Vanda.
Yeah.
It is so good to finally be sitting down and doing the podcast.
I know, right? We've been talking about this.
We have.
Not too long, but we've been talking about
Good point. And let's start right there. Why has it taken so long for us to get here?
Actually, it hasn't taken us too long.
No, right.
But it's taken long to get to a place where we're executing it.
I think that's exactly where I was going with the question. Because for you, I know, and everybody who ever watches this podcast, every episode, every time they watch this, they'll get the really strong feeling that you're all about energy. You're all about things happening at the right time.
I am.
Everything organic. Don't stress over the things that don't happen on the day, in the minute, in the hour. Like I do all the time. I freak out all the time.
Or
if it doesn't
stress,
happen.
but stress well.
Stress and stress intelligently. I mean, if that's even a thing.
Or in alignment with your higher self. And then that goes away.
You see, yes, but then I think, I missed my boat. I wasn't there on time, so I must have missed my higher self. And then you all constantly...
Or the boat wasn't there for you.
Exactly. But you're constantly reminding me that things need to happen when they are supposed to happen, which is exactly why we're here now. Right? But it does beg the question.
Especially today, though.
And we'll go into that as well, I think. Because I think it's so much about the energy and, again, the energy. My question is, though, and it's an honest question, because I know why I'm here, you know why we're here, but people have now seen Angels and Demons.
Right.
They've clicked yes to have a look.
Angels and Demons.
You can decide which is which. It's up to you entirely. And I'm sure those roles will
change.
And
do they exist? And are they true?
And does everybody have both of them inside them? And are they constantly battling some kind of angel and demon war within themselves? We'll get to all of those things, I'm sure.
And is it... there we go.
Is it even a thing?
Is it?
Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. Is it?
But having said that, this podcast is a thing.
Right.
And it is a thing for a very specific reason. But the point is that everybody watching doesn't know exactly what that reason is.
Right.
Why are we doing this podcast now? Why is it so important for the work that you do on a daily basis? Why are you now, right now, today, convinced that this message and your work needs to be put out in the podcast now? Why now?
So there's two things. Yeah. One, I don't actually feel that my work needs to be put out to the world.
Okay.
I don't have that belief.
Okay. What
I do have is that you said you don't understand me. You go, explain a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, okay. I'm actually in this journey because I have a best friend who's no longer with us.
Right.
Who's got me on this journey because she said she didn't understand, and look what happened. Now I've got a household business, I've got forgiveness salt, I've got this, I've got tools, we've got tools for the soul. Doesn't even exist. Your soul doesn't need a tool. Your soul needs you.
Right.
So the language we use is important because it can so easily distort you and blindside you of your true essence and how simple things really are for you in your life.
So is that why we're doing this? Is that why? Is that the why?
So I've always had the thing of being on a talk show. Now, is it this talk show? I don't know. The truth about being on the talk show right now or being on the past, got to have the past guys, is mostly because the synergy between me and you is a good one.
It's good energy.
Yeah, we're both from Alberton, just by the way.
We'll explain where that is. And for those of you who would like to hit pause, you can hit pause right about now. Go straight to
www.
Go to Google Earth. Type
Deep South.
Alberton, Deep South, South Africa. And even Google Earth will take about 25 seconds to get there. It's a long way from here in Atlanta.
Right, but solid warriorship, I will tell you. Straight up.
But again...
So I want to answer your question because it's important to, is this a podcast that you will actually want to listen to? And the answer is, I don't know. But that it's going to be absolutely unedited and to the point of raising your awareness that I absolutely know people are not being aware of what they're saying, of what they're thinking, and with the absolute rich diversity. It's never been this rich on the planet with so many different languages, so many different modalities, so many awakenings within everybody awakening to the spirituality where it's not the spirituality. Spirituality is not a thing. Spirituality is. And people go, oh, I'm not spiritual. Yeah, you are.
Mm-hmm.
We are all spiritual beings.
Right.
And everyone's talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not understanding the simplicity of it. It's not as complex as people are making it out to be.
So I'm starting to understand what I think the purpose is now. Because you were very kind and said, there's so much diversity and there's so many modalities. But you were very kind when you said it that way.
Yeah.
To me, I'm going, there's so much noise right now.
There is.
But there's noise.
There's noise.
Chaos. And absolutely. You wake up in the morning and there's just noise. And there's noise. And the news is noise.
Yes.
And this is noise. And the cars are noise.
Yes.
So you're very kind the way you look at it. I look at it like, what people need to do is we need to find a way to maybe calm that noise.
No, it's not going to.
Okay. All right. Okay. Even better.
So you don't measure yourself. You don't measure yourself when there is no chaos. You measure yourself when you're tired. You measure yourself when it's noisy. You measure yourself when you're at your wit's end. You measure yourself when you think you can't. You measure yourself when you're drunk. You measure yourself when you loaded, stressed out. That's when you measure yourself. Because if you can't be who you are in those moments, then who are you being?
So again, now the picture's getting clearer all the time though. No, it really is.
It's starting to formulate.
No, it is. It really is now, because now what I've got in my brain is the noise is going to be there no matter what.
No, the noise is there.
I need to find a way to make myself work in that environment. I need to be more aware of me in the noise, more aware of the way I behave in the noise, and the way I can control myself in the noise.
And so what people are doing is, and when I say people, and that is because it's people around us, our community, our people, our friends, our families. Are you reacting or are you responding? That's how simple it is. Are you being the chaos, or are you just breathing in and allowing the chaos to be the chaos? Because if you're going to stop the chaos, you're in for a long, long ride.
We really are going in the direction I'm loving now, because it goes to a saying that I've always loved. Now, a saying I've always loved, that life is going to happen to you. Chaos is going to happen.
Life is happening.
And it's going to. So no matter what you do, that's never going to change. It's always going to happen. The only thing...
But what you do changes.
Exactly. So the way you react to that is what defines you, not the fact that life is happening, because that's going to happen anyway. So we choose every day to either react positively or negatively in those scenarios, right? That's the truth. We choose. We dictate. We really should dictate, or should be in a position to understand how to manage ourselves. While life happens.
Yeah, but there's lots of different aspects of yourself that are not all matching up at the same point at every time.
Sure.
So somebody would say, well, you're the creator of your life. Yeah, but there are things that you created a long time ago that are only showing up like a decade later.
Right.
So and who you were 10 years ago is not necessarily the same person that is vibrating now. Right. And probably, you're asking me a question that I'm very cautious to respond, because I'm very much that person that is conscientious of your place in your world. Right. And even though this is like the era of awakening and spirituality and energy work and light workers and psychics and mediums and chakras and conscientiousness and this whole tapestry of life itself, I was born this way.
Yes.
So I'm 55, and I've spent 55 years trying to deal with who I am, and I'm not even anywhere close.
So is that why we're here? Because you...
No, we're not here because of Vanda. We're here because... Yeah.
No. Sorry, I miss...
Actually, we are. That's the truth. We're here because...
You see where I'm going, though? Because I do think it's about you, but I think
it is about me.
You.
Absolutely, it's about me.
I think both of those things are true, because it's so much got to do with the walk that you have walked and how you've got to this particular point in your life. The lessons you've learned, the theories you've learned, the things you've learned about the world and the universe and how to operate within it and how you can be happy within this. And
there's definitely
and by having that conversation here, we can help other people get to a place of, I'm so scared to say it, but for them to be happier. But that's really the truth. If we get more in touch with ourselves as human beings, which is so much about what you talk about.
Right. So talk about angels. People go, I don't know if I have an angel. Yeah, you have an angel. You might not want to call him an angel. You might want to call him like, a spiritual guide, a counselor, a light force, a benevolence of some kind. Let me tell you something. I cannot be the only, and I'm not. We are born with an innate ability for a tremendous of wisdom and guidance to be surmountly surrounded by us and to pass through us.
So, by us talking and having these conversations, me being almost, and I'm going to use the word, a fool when it comes to so much of this stuff. Because I think intrinsically...
No, you're not.
No, but I think intrinsically I understand how to do these things, but I don't always know what I'm doing.
Yeah, because it's not in the mind.
Exactly. That's where
So first of all, you're not only just in the mind. You're like, and this is why this is the other reason we're having the podcast with me and you.
Mm-hmm.
This dance here is brilliant because you go, I don't know if I believe that. And like, really? It's on like Donkey Kong.
Now that's really a good thing. Now, this is
It's on.
This is why
because you are such a warrior. You're such a passionate person. But then you go think about it, and then you get off the rocket.
Because that's exactly what it is. Because sometimes I can't make it small enough for what I perceive a little brain to be able to say, how do I use this in a day-to-day surrounding or scenario where I can use that tool to help me go in that direction? And then I overthink things.
Well, maybe you don't have a small brain.
Well, I don't have a small brain. But I love to say
you see, just like that. So don't say it. So we're in the age of awakening. Don't say stuff that's not supposed to be said.
But if I say it, they expect so much less from me.
Right.
So here's my thing. But I think we're getting clearer and clearer in terms of what this is all about. This is about people finding out, awakening, being a little more aware of themselves and aware of their own role in the universe.
Let's talk about just quickly. People go, the awakening. Hello? We're in it.
Okay.
If you're not awoken by now, and I'm not talking about woke, I'm talking about...
let's not talk about woke.
Yeah, I'm not talking about you waking up, whatever your deepest desires. I'm talking about an expansion of this cosmic force of light between you and your soul, right? It's called evolution, okay? So you knowing who you are, you understanding why you're here, why you chose your parents, why you living, why we chose to be South African but chose to meet up in America.
But
how about that, right?
We've now got to exactly why we are doing this.
Right.
You've just answered the question. It's taken us about 17 minutes, I think, but we've got to the point of that because I know what the problem with, and here's my honest opinion. We have so many conversations and I love our conversations because I always feel challenged.
Right.
I always feel like what you tell me and the things that you say to me, I never walk away and just go, oh, well, we had a conversation, move on. I'm always challenged by them because I try and think about them and process them. And you are very, very careful. When you say something to somebody, you never tell people what to do. I don't ever, that's maybe the wrong way to put it, but you don't ever say, if you want to be happier in 4 days, these are the 3 things you need to do. That's not how you operate.
Yeah, I tried that. It doesn't work.
Yeah, but you don't operate like that.
You can lose weight in 7 days. Not happening.
You know what I mean? But nothing works.
I ate more.
As we do. That's how it works with people.
Right.
So my thing is always, and it's always been this with you in particular, that you will tell me something that I need to interpret and make my own and then help myself work with it. That's how
I'll tell you why I do that. So one, I am a born psychic and channel and medium.
Another thing we were definitely going to talk more
about. So I am born that way.
Yep.
And I seriously learned this very, very, very quickly. Well, maybe not quick enough, but I learned it. Or maybe I didn't, but this is how I interpret it for myself. Just because I can see it and I understand it my way, it gives me no right to take it from your life and your experience.
Absolutely. So the advice that you can give me, I need to interpret and understand and then use it within my own set of circumstances.
Yeah, because I might have a way to do it, but this might be your piece that you need to go in and build momentum and bring in, just for an example, an emotional aspect of you that you didn't tap to in either your previous life or another setting, but you chose it in this way. And I've just taken that from you.
And that's...
So now you've got no vroom. Now you're going to go to the race going, I'm going to win the race. So now that adrenaline piece, that piece there that stresses most of us out, are we going to win? Yeah, you're going to win, but how? by staying focused on your lane, on your life, and on what you yet to do, and understanding who you are. Now, don't get me wrong. You know, I'm born this way, and so the truth is that I'm an exceptional, higher tuned in psychic and intuitive, but so is everybody else. You know, I just far more set in.
Has this got something to do with that concept of the fact that the human brain is probably only working at 10% of its own capability at any given point?
I heard it's 3%.
Okay, let's go with 3 because I've seen the way people drive. Let's go with 3.
It's 3%.
Let's go with 3.
But it's got nothing to do with the brain. It's got to do with what are you doing with your thoughts, and what are you doing with you, and how you feel makes all the difference.
That's my point.
So in the age of so we're not in the age of the information age, right? So we're in the age of what? Aquarius, which means what? Empathic. You intuitive. You are conscious. You are aware, and you're supposed to be aware of one another, and you're supposed to have love in your heart. Is that what you're saying?
I don't see that every day.
I mean, come on. Is that what you're saying? So everybody's talking about the grandness of all of this, and yet everybody's doing a great job. Not everybody. That's generalizing. It is really tough to leave the past behind because there's a lot of rehashing going on. You know? Sure. There's a lot of rehashing going on because people are wanting to live. They want to live tomorrow, but they can't leave tomorrow behind. And so no one's present. You speak to people and they're either complaining about what happened or they are affirming what's going to happen tomorrow and ignoring who they're being right now, right now. If you're angry, you're not happy. If you're happy, what are you doing with that happiness? In that moment of being happy, because that's the gift. How are you sharing that? Now, I'm not talking about being happy all the time, but raising your awareness. So, you know, in the age of Aquarius or never mind the age of Aquarius, where's the peace? The chaos is there because the contrast is there, and the contrast is going to get more.
But I think we've answered the question again, though. Why are we doing this? Raising awareness.
We're just raising awareness so that...
Is that hold on.
Have we got there? I think we got there.
Because I think that's what it is. For me,
raising awareness.
I thought that's it.
Just raise your awareness to everyday stuff that matters.
Good and bad.
There's no good and bad.
No. Hey?
What's good for you might be really
sure.
crappy for me.
Okay, I get you. I hear you. But what I'm saying is it's so good to be in a situation where you really are just, okay, I've got you. I'm processing. You can see my brain working. We're in a situation where raise my awareness to everything that's happening around me so that I can operate
so that you know what the difference. Yeah, so that you know the difference between, okay, this feels good, that doesn't. Mm-hmm. But then when that doesn't, is it that doesn't because you are in the habit of not being in that energy? Or is it doesn't because you're just sloppy and you're ignoring who you need to be and who you know who you are, and it's just too much work? I mean, there's so many different ways we can go.
You see, I did it again, though.
I know.
I took your answer and I tried to overcomplicate it again. So we're going
to. But it's not complicated because that's okay. So you've got to know who you are.
I'm obviously the
when were you born?
1967.
No. Okay, so what are you?
July.
So July. Yeah. So what are you?
Cancerian.
So you're Cancer.
Yeah.
So this got nothing to do with astrology, but astrology gives you the ingredients and the nodes of just understanding yourself just a little bit more. Not telling you the future, but a Cancer baby is all about what?
Water. I don't know. What is a Cancer baby? I don't know much about this stuff. I really don't.
So a Cancer baby is mostly and all about the house, the family.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Really?
Aren't you that person?
When you say the house and the home, and I don't know. Or maybe I might not look at it in the same way.
So it's you, your family.
But family is very important, yes.
Well, those are Cancerians.
Okay.
You're independent, but you're independent around your family.
This is something
family else. Is very, very, very important.
This is something else we're going to talk about, right? on the podcast, we're all going to try to explore some of these different sides.
Yeah,
of things, because
absolutely.
that really also does come into it. And if you are watching and you want to participate, one of the ways that people can participate in this
Right.
is by sending us questions and sending us comments and asking us certain questions,
Right.
which I will then ask you on the podcast, so we
Right.
can make this a real conversational.
This is a real conversation.
It has to be, though.
Can't you see what's happening?
No, that's what I'm saying. It has to be real and it has to be a conversation.
It is real.
For me, because I'm really...
So that's another thing.
I could do another 2 hours of this. This is very scary. It is. It's scary. It's scary. I'll tell you why. Because I think what we're doing is we're maybe now moving into some of the other podcast areas that we might reach into. So we've got the why. And I'm going to just bring you back to why this particular episode has... Somebody pressed play and they've watched this. Now they've got the why.
Okay.
Now, and it's going to be a more difficult question to answer. So I think very quickly...
Yeah, but raising awareness is very vague out there.
No, sure, but I get that. I get that. We'll
Right.
be more explicit
I'm
as
good.
we go, I think.
Okay.
And I don't want to stymie your creativity
No.
or your answering capability,
Yeah.
but I want you I want to get to the second part is, and it's going to be impossible to answer, I think, now that I've thought about it, who could benefit from watching and being part? I want everybody please to go back about 13 seconds. Who, ignore everything I've just said and replace it with this. Who could benefit from being part of this conversation?
At this point, I think I'm the one that's going to benefit.
That's the least helpful answer you could give me.
Because I just got the answer to what you asked me.
Okay, tell me.
Isn't that amazing?
Yes, I agree.
How this
It's
comes
not
full
amazing.
circle.
Yep.
So when you really want to do something so who could be that? You and I have discussed this.
We have.
That one person, that you that's out there, that you're on the brink of tapping into your essence of who you are. You're just right there. And there's just this magical force. And not that there is any like super wands or superpowers or anything of that. But that you that's out there, that's on the brink and on the wall and sitting on the fence of you and your undeniable greatness, your destiny. That's me.
Got it. Wait. But now, you know what I'm going to do?
Because you've never understood me.
No, but that I get about you.
Right.
That I get about you completely. But I'm going to stretch it ever so slightly.
Okay.
Being that thinker, being the overthinker.
Right.
If you're on the brink and you're looking to take that next step and you're looking to find ways to take that next step and reach your own potential, your own greatness within yourself. What about people who have tuned into this angels and demons who are they feel
Right.
completely and utterly lost? They are lost and they are looking for some sort of direction to walk in. Can we on this podcast, can we in this situation, you and I, come together to give them a few things, give them some sort of thought, some sort of process, some sort of action that they can take to start making their way towards getting to the wall and then being on the brink of that
So the
grand
answer,
discovery.
yes. So you've already tapped into, you already know who I am. So the answer is yes, yes, and yes. Why? Because with everything, we're not just going to do a podcast because we don't have anything else better to do.
No.
That's the truth.
No.
There's a lot of intention that's been behind this. But there's been a solid prayer of guided, influence to touch the people through this cosmic ray and through these rays of light, to touch you, move you, and inspire you, and to move you along. Maybe you might not even need to hear anything in the podcast. Maybe it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just a sound wave that crosses your path and has a ripple effect that is greater than anything else. So why are we doing this? Is because we are raising awareness. And we're not going to take the chaos away, but you can't stop the ripple effect of benevolence and love and your rays of light and connection and being on your path and knowing who you are and waking up and discovering that there is no wrong. But when things go right and they feel good, there's a very big difference of your quality of life and the people in your life, and you feel great and you do great, and there's no downtime. That's not what we've come here for. It's not the downtime. It's the things that we're rising up and doing with each other. So you already know there's an intention. I've already prayed about this. I will touch somebody because that's the purpose. If I'm going to make time out here, away from my children, away from the people that I love, and away from my world, and we are going to send this out to the world, it's to inspire some kind of benevolence.
I love it. And it's
Plus, we're spiritual warriors, right?
agreed.
From Alberton.
From Alberton. From the south. Yeah, from the south. What I am going to say is, I think we should finish with this.
Tell me.
And I'm going to say something to you that's been a cornerstone to everything I've ever done in my life.
Right.
Everything. And it's from Maya Angelou, one of my favorite people on the planet. When she writes and when she speaks and the things that she's written. And her famous quote, my favorite quote of hers is, people, and you've just touched on it now, about the fact that you might not hear what's in the podcast, but maybe just the vibration of this podcast could be the thing that triggers the next thing, which triggers the next thing, which triggers the next thing.
Right.
She says, people will forget what you said.
Right.
They will forget what you did.
Right.
But they will never forget the way you made them feel.
Right.
Now, I think that is exactly what we're doing.
Right.
We are changing the way people feel.
Right.
And it doesn't matter whether it's the words or the energy or the vibrations, but that is what we are going to try and do. Give them something.
No, that's what we're doing.
I hear you.
So now ask me why. Ask me why.
I do have to correct my speech when I say that's what we're trying to do, because you're right. We are doing it already.
So ask me why now.
Please do. Tell me.
So
why?
In the House of Cancer, there is an I am thread. And a lot of people are not aware of this, but it's in all your sacred books and all of that. But there's an I am thread. Well, Cancer's I am thread, guess what that is?
Tell me.
I feel.
The way I feel. Forget what you did. Forget what you said. But never forget the way they made you feel.
Right. I feel. Right. So you can't ignore who you are. You know who you are. It's trusting who you are, being who you are. Now that takes muscle. And it takes a little bit of rolling up the sleeves.
But again, we've answered the question. And on that, that's exactly what it is. It takes muscle, takes rolling up the sleeves, takes information, takes listening, takes participating in something like this.
Right.
And I think that's why angels and demons exist.
No.
So we could be part of all of those things.
Exactly. And there's so many things to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
really, we've based the first episode of this podcast on an unanswerable question, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
Because it's about so many things, but it's about all of these things.
Right.
And then specifically so many of the things within what we've been talking about.
So do angels exist? Depends. Do you believe in them? Believe or not? They do. You know, for me.
Do demons exist?
Now, that's a tricky one because I really don't believe.
Okay.
They do.
Uh-huh.
But I can't deny that thought form throughout generations and generations and generations and generations has given those lesser bright energies a name called a demon, right?
Then it exists, right? Even if it's just in that.
Well, then it exists in the mental aspect of thought form and mankind, yeah.
Vanda, I think this is going to be fascinating. I think two things are going to happen. Somebody out there is going to get something out of this, and you and I are going to learn a lot about two things: each other,
right,
and about the way we feel and think about things, which I think is going to be fascinating in and of itself.
Right. And we're going to interrupt the space of you not understanding me.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's really what is fascinating for me.
Right.
And I think you're also going to get to know me a lot better because you'll understand.
I already know you.
I know.
That's not the
and
answer.
On that rather revealing note, we'll see you next time. Vanda, thank you so much. I think we should do it one more time.
Okay, awesome.
Listen, I've loved the way this has started.
Okay.
And I can't wait for the next conversation.
All right, so.
Thank you, Vanda.
Maybe your feedback?
Please. The feedback is vital. If you want to type some questions into the comments section of whatever platform you're watching this on, send us a message. We'll put all the details at the end of the podcast. And if you do want to talk to us, please do reach out via the emails. All those details will be at the end of the podcast as well. So whatever you do, make sure you get hold of us. And we are going to endeavor to do two things. One, talk to as many of those questions and suggestions as possible. And two, react to the world that's happening around us every single day and how we can just
respond. So more responding to the world. And then the other thing that is there is, if you're tuning into the podcast, we're going to be doing some work. We're going to raise that energy.
See, now that I love.
We're going to raise that energy.
Yeah.
We're not doing the podcast to do the podcast and to talk. There's no talking here. You want to podcast with us and you want to talk with us, then we're going to walk the walk. We are walking. We are going to strut that essence. We're going to warrior up. We're going to go on that.
That is the final word.
That's it. Okay. Perfect.
Cheers, Vanda.
Love it.
And that's it.
And that's that.